Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 114 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. My name is Stuart Clark, and I am once again joined by our good friend from just across the border, well, maybe a little bit further across, northwest of Chicagoland, Mr. Terry Measley. How are you tonight?
Doing pretty good, Stu.
That's
good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening. Jeff is away this week. He's actually on your side of the border. He's doing a short little trip with the missus in Michigan, and they're having a good time, apparently. He just threw up some stuff from a car museum. I'll have to throw some of the links up later on. So he's having a good time. So as always, thanks to our Patreon supporters. Definitely, if you want to contribute, please do. Patreon.com/Scale Model Podcast helps us with the hosting fees and all the other good stuff. So, post HeritageCon, one week later, the time where we're recording this, I think I'm recovered now. How about you?
Mostly, yeah. Mostly.
Absolutely amazing time again. Over 1,003 entries, over 3,000 people. They had to shut the building down for a while to keep the fire marshal happy. So I think the hobby's in a good place, at least in our neck of the woods.
It is good to see shows draw this many attendees and competitors.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big one. And then just this past weekend, right up in that same area, was BuffCon. So
yep.
I've been enjoying photos from both and seeing a lot of the same models out because they're so close to each other.
Same area. Exactly. Yeah. And first of all, we have to make one thing clear. You were robbed. I'm just saying.
Me? Oh, no. Absolutely not.
I don't know. I'm going to say you were. I think
the only one I thought may have placed higher was the Asuka.
Well, I still think you were robbed. But anyway, that's my opinion. But Jeff did quite well.
Jeff did very well.
He got that first with that BL47. Lots of people were commenting on it. I've seen it in all sorts of photos around the interweb.
It looks better in person.
It does. Indeed. Every time I've seen it, it just seems to look better and better. I know he brought it to our local club meeting a couple of times when it was being built. And it just stunning, and he did a fabulous job. We also had our good friends from the Plastic Model Mojo, Dave and Mike, up. We do have a segment later on with them. And we also had Darren from the Model Geeks. Really good to see some other people. Chris Wallace, Lefram, Panzermeister, all sorts of regular people that we haven't seen in ages, and we had a really good time. Now the important part: how bad were we, Terry? How bad were you this year?
I was not too bad. I spent a fair amount over at Panda Supplies, mostly.
Our good friends at Panda Hobbies.
Then I kept going back. Not to flirt with anybody, but to hit on a kit while I was there. And it's one of these from what's the video game name? Fear Rising? No.
Yes.
It's this trike.
Right.
It's fascinating little kit. So I picked it up. That was not cheap.
No, it looked good though. Looked really good.
It really does. It's 12th scale.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It can be built with it's 2 wheels or 3 wheels.
It'll be fun when that's built up. And I know Jeff was fairly bad too, although some of it he had actually pre-ordered in advance from Dave Gertan. Yeah. But he did pick up a 48 scale Blackbird, an old cruise missile Revell, which if I'd seen, I would have totally told him. I don't know how I missed such a large box for so long among the things, because that would be me totally saying, yeah, Jeff, You have to go get this. So yeah, he had a lot of fun. I went to Panda Hobbies. I returned a circle cutter that was giving me grief. And let me tell you, folks, the customer support there, absolutely fabulous. No problems at all. We had a look together. He gave me some suggestions with the new one. I also picked up some of the Dispace sanders, both sets of the, I think it's a 5-pack, and you get like 30 pieces of the
Yeah, I picked
sponges.
up one of those too, of different grits and different thicknesses of the sponges.
Yep, exactly. So I think I've got from like 100 now all the way up to like 5,000 in those. So I'm well equipped for sanding blocks. What else? FlexiFile. I got some little micro brushes and some replacements for my sanding frame, which I use all the time. Very, very good thing.
Yeah, I got some not replacements, but some new sanding pads from those guys, the polishing pads. Because I think I'm going to throw all my old ones out.
Yeah, they get to a point. Yep.
Yeah,
I understand.
I'm just not even bothering with them.
For kits, I actually got some really good deals. There was a gentleman there selling. I got Airfix's new tool Beaufort 1/72 scale for $10, which you can't go wrong with. I believe it's the Oshima. It's the Waterline series 1/700 Tirpitz, and I got a trumpet for $10, and I got a trumpeter Prince Eugen for $15. So not bad at all.
Yeah, I came home with more Canadian cash than I planned to.
Yep.
I kept going back through and see if there was something I wanted to buy.
Yeah, me too. And nothing really. Nope. I was being good. Nothing really caught my eye.
No kits anyway. I could have bought more stuff at Panda for sure. But I was talking with them, and they messed up somehow, and they missed the registration, so they couldn't get as much space as they wanted.
Yes, I know.
They had way more supplies last year.
Yeah, but no, they're hoping to take care of that. I believe they are going to be at Torcan in May, the Toronto show, and we're hoping we'll have them down at our show in September, down in London. So we'll see. Never, always a good excuse, but really good team there, friendly folks, good for answering your questions.
I want to call out the book vendor there.
Yes,
with all the stuff from Schiffer. I bought a couple of their Legends of Warfare series, the A20 and A20 Havoc and the TBD Devastator. They're these square format books.
Oh, is that Scott Taylor? He's from our club too.
I don't know. I don't think he put a card in.
No. Okay.
He said he knew you though, so he charged me more.
Oh, he charged. Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Just making sure.
So you get your kickback.
Although he was supposed to charge Jeff more, not you. Anyway, all right. We'll
he gave me a bargain. He said he would sell them to me for American dollars.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, an absolutely fabulous time. For once, the weather was good. So that was good. And yeah, just an absolutely amazing HeritageCon.
Yeah, it was fun. I took over Dave Blappy's booth for a little while to let him go see the show and everything and sell some of his stuff. And it moved. He moved almost everything he brought. So I think the vendors did pretty well if they were priced accordingly. If they were
priced right. There was at least 2 vendors I know of that they were sold out by 1:00. Like they were empty by 1, and Dave was like hardly any left. I know. And that's what you said. That's what you saw. And as we've talked about this before, if you price it to move, it's going to move.
Yeah.
I did see some disparities. I know some people were talking about they'd see one kit somewhere for 40 and another one somewhere else, the exact same kit at the other end of the room for 70.
Yeah. And that's going to happen. I saw stuff out there that was overpriced as well. And I get it. Some of these things cost a lot when you buy them.
Yep.
Some of the ones like at Dave's side, he had a couple of like ice racing and rally type cars. And I know those don't get released in that form very often.
Yep.
So he wasn't going to move, but I still thought his prices on those.
Oh, his prices were great.
Yeah.
There was a few temptations.
If I thought I'd actually build it, I would have bought got that little Citroen ice, snow racer.
Yeah. Well, there was
a tiny car.
There was another guy by the back entrance, the vendor's entrance, that he had a lot of Japanese imports, which were kind of interesting. And again, they made, for the pricing it was at, it made sense for some of the rarities of that.
Oh yeah, I walked past and saw he had some cool stuff on there, even back to some of the 80s Robotech and stuff like that.
Yep.
Some stuff that I haven't seen in a while.
Yep, exactly.
And they were priced accordingly. They were not priced unfairly.
Nope. Exactly.
But they weren't tempting me.
No, exactly. Same here. But no, it was good. Like I said, some absolutely beautiful models.
Yeah, let's talk about the models.
Let's talk about the models. So just, again, 1,003 entries, absolutely fantastic in all categories. Just amazing. Again, what was interesting, and we talk a little bit about this in the segment with the plastic model guys. Where we talk about categories. There was definitely some categories that should have been split. The sci-fi table was absolutely heaving.
Yeah, I think we covered that in the let's just let that go.
We'll cover that in there.
There was a true behemoth on the table. Someone had, I think it was the HK 32nd scale Lancaster.
Yes.
And it like I say, it's a Leviathan. The thing is
absolutely
massive. And the other thing, not like the B-29. The B-29 is sleek. The Lancaster looks big, and it looks like a brute. And in that scale, it really does look like a brute.
Yeah.
A lot of gorgeous work.
Well, I do want to give a shout out to Harvey Lowe over at IPMS Toronto. He had that 1/200 scale Japanese battleship. The Yamato, and actually that went back with fine scale modelers. So I don't know if that was a commission build or not, but it's now sitting in their headquarters because Aaron and Tim were down from fine scale modelers. True. Lots of pictures being taken. I know our club in London did very well at the prize table. And again, I'll throw some links to some people's photo galleries, but just, again, I am always stunned and amazed by the quality and the creativity and the inventiveness that comes out of these.
I was happy to see an old friend, Al Wong, was there, and I guess his brother was too.
Oh yeah, okay,
And Al's retired essentially, so he's just building and building and building.
Good for him. That's what you deserve.
And they look good.
Yep. So we should also point out they did have the announcement of the Moosaroo Cup.
Yeah.
So they did that, and we want to give congratulations. Some amazing, all the builds are amazing. I need to ask Ian from the show for copies of the photos because I'm going to throw it up on the model podcast page.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. So Plastic Model Mojo took it this year. Great looking kit. Again, Ian said it was a very tough decision. So I guess it was I'm trying to remember who was building that one. JB? Yeah, John Bonani built that one. He's normally an armor guy. So squeezed out an aircraft and it looked absolutely great. There will be another Moosaroo Cup for this year, so we'll have to wait and see. Normally, the last couple of times they'll probably announce it again at Nats. So that's what they did last year.
I would be surprised if it's not armor, but I would also not be shocked if it was a ship.
I know. Well, of course it's going to be a ship with fiddly photo etch because I'm on deck next. Because apparently they want your name before they decide. So I can't even say, okay, someone else, go ahead. No, apparently not. So that's part of the reason I bought some ships, just in case I can practice on those. But yeah, no, fabulous time again. We did have Jeff's entry was there and lots of oohs and ahs from that. It's
very nice. He did a great job with it.
He did an absolutely fantastic job. Okay, so let's move on. As always, if you want to write us about some of these comments or anything, go to the mailbag, scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to know your thoughts about the show and other things like that. So moving on, latest hobby announcements, just on the same theme of the HeritageCon. The Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum announced their latest book. It's called Pathway to the Stars, 100 Years of the RCAF. This is one you can pre-order. It's going to be about $40 Canadian. October 2023 is the date. Based on their previous stuff, this is a must-have if you're following the RCAF stuff, because it is the RCAF's 100th anniversary. Was that on April 1st?
Yeah, I have to keep an eye on this. 256 full color pages.
Yeah, Michael Hood, Tom Jenkins doing it. Absolutely gorgeous. 8.5 by 11, and again, you can pre-order now at the link we provided. Another book from our good friends at Vallejo, one of theirs, Emmanuel Noyer. Sorry.
Wow.
Apologies. This is
that's too many vowels for one name.
Too many vowels. Learn how to create extreme real video in this new book. So 192 pages, A4 size, 43 euros. Just a gorgeous looking book on how to do his style of the masterclass. This is the first volume of the masterclass series, in which the author shows his personal way of approaching and putting his work into practice. So in this case, he specializes in extreme weathering, wear and tear. So again, looks like there's 11 articles, and it's the first book of a series. So this will be quite good. And looking through this again, very detailed, step by step. This looks really good.
It is, if nothing else, just to see how he handles some of this stuff.
And what's good about this, obviously they're going to feature Vallejo products here, but the techniques will work with any of the various companies. So this is a really good one to see. So this is quite, and for 43 euros, it's about $60. Not bad at all. 92 pages. So exactly. Yeah. All right. Next up, I was saying this pre-show, the Apache seems to be the for the helicopter world this year, seems to be just like the Stug is for the armored world. We have 2 articles about the Apache from our friends at TACOM. So there is going to be the new British Apache, the AH Mark I in 1/35 scale. So they basically put the existing kit, and they're adding all the British specific parts. And didn't you say something about the pilot sits on the other side?
Oh, you're stealing my.
I know. I said
jokes,
you.
Man.
I said you. I said you.
For crying out loud! You're not supposed to set someone up like that.
I'm sorry.
But what's we've got a British version and an Israeli version. Obviously, in the British version, that's the pilot sits on the right.
Obviously. Yeah, exactly. So the British version was produced by Augusta Westland under license from Boeing for the British Army. It was a derivative of the 64D. Again, custom built for some of the more mission requirements for the British. So I guess Barry flew this one.
I guess some of the green bits on here are the unique to
That's
British
correct.
pieces?
That's correct. Yeah. That's exactly correct.
Yeah, so some integrated defensive system, different engines.
Yep.
Different ordnance and tanks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, stuff on the yellow. So that is that's the British one. You get RCESS tank, the CRV-7 rocket pods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they have to have tanks for petrol, not gas.
That's right. You have to have special tanks for petrol.
That's right.
Not for gas, exactly. And then the Israelis, the Saraf. I knew the Israelis made one. I didn't know they had a name. So again, this is the Israeli customizations. So fully integrated weapons, nice desert scheme. These again are CADs.
Yep.
Electronic
they just keep hanging stuff off these Apaches. It started out such a nice sleek attack ship, and now it's just
again a different type of tank. SATCOM network systems. Again, very customized if you're into Israeli topics. So some nice pictures here.
Yeah,
from the modeling news article on it. So. Yeah, some other new stuff there. So definitely check those out, coming out soon. And then we'll see how many more come out. I wonder if we'll make a Canadian what if version. It has a snow plow or something to pick up polar bears.
An RC MP Apache. Yeah,
exactly. the RCMP.
Yeah,
we'll put it in Royal Canadian Mounted Police colors. There's a good idea. Excellent, Terry. Well done. All right, Italeri, April releases. These are all repops, we'll just tell you now, but it's nice to see them back. Starting out with the very popular Porsche RSR Turbo, the Carrera. That was 1974. They only built 4 of them. It was only built for the 74 World Constructors Championship. But yeah, in the colors of the Martini racing team. They had 500 horsepower. Yeah. So you have
this
4
is one of their
versions.
easy kits.
Yep. Some nice schemes there. Yep, nice and easy, but hey, you can't go wrong. I always liked the Martini racing schemes.
Yeah.
They were always nice. Yeah. Next up is the 72nd scale Scout car. I think you said this is from the mid 70s.
Oh, I was looking. I didn't see that this was the 72nd. I was looking at their 35th scale M3 Lee, which is from the early 70s.
Yeah. So this one is the 72nd version. So good for the wargaming. Folks, you got 4 different versions, including U.S. Army, Russian Army, Free French, and another one, the Russian Army. So this was used land lease.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The
this
Russians
was a 2008. This was a 2008.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the Russians used on the Eastern Front to pull 76 millimeters ZIS-3 cannons. Again, not a huge part count, but for that size, what do you expect? But again, very good. And then this is an interesting one. They've re-released their F-16C Fighting Falcon in 1/48 scale. And again, this is an older one. But again, artillery, you got, 6 different schemes here. You have Ohio Air National Guard, Nellis Air Force Base. That's an attractive Lizard scheme. Version
they're
B.
calling it a Block 42. These are relatively new schemes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get that that tritone, that dark earth medium green.
The aggressor. I think it's the aggressor. That's what it is. Yeah, for red flag. Yeah,
I like the Ohio Air National Guard scheme with that retro tail.
Yep.
With that yellow wings tail on it. Yeah. It's nice.
And version E, the tiger meat, looks like Polish.
Yeah.
And
so, my approach to these kind of ones, this is going to be a fairly simplified kit.
Oh, yeah.
But these are great schemes. So it lets you just do a good job painting it.
Yep.
Maybe buy some resin FOD covers for the intake and the engine. And just do a good job painting it and have it on the shelf.
And you're absolutely good. Yeah, I know. You're absolutely good to go. Some great looking schemes. Yeah, a couple of weapons.
Turkish,
it does.
No, Pakistan. That's Pakistani.
Yeah. It does come with some bombs and some tanks and some sparrows, and can't go wrong with that at all. And 48's a good size. Okay, moving on. The Leopard 1A5 135th. Leopards have been in the news lately because we are talking about some of them going to the Ukraine.
Well, not Leopard 1s, hopefully.
No. But Leopard 2s, I believe. But yeah, this is the original Leopard 1. Again, a couple of different markings. The Greek, the Germans, Italian, a couple of Italian ones.
And again, some of these paint schemes that they used were really nice.
Yeah.
The Greeks have an unusual stripy paint scheme.
Yep. Always good. I should point out, too, I should have put it on the new kit. Tamiya, they're looking at doing a Leopard in Ukrainian service coming soon. Yeah. So again, just okay, Hasegawa in April. They were late getting this out. So we got a couple of things here. They've got one new tool, some sort of Gundam, Walker Machine XA Bungle.
Oh, that's, the Zambungle, not technically Gundam. The machine, the big air fortress, that's been out for a while.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know if the Zabungle bot's been. I think that's been out for a little bit.
So it's like a transformer.
Oh, it's new in 2023. Yeah. So okay, yeah, I have seen it at the store.
So it's like a transformer because looks like it's got tires.
It's a mecha of some sort.
Yeah, but why does it have? If you look at the rear picture, it looks like it's got wheels and they could convert to like a truck or something.
I honestly don't know much about these guys. It must be a transformer of some sort.
Looks like it.
Yep.
And then the 1 in 500th, the Iron Gear, looks like a transport for these things.
Yeah.
And then what else here? Minolta Toyota, the 91C.
Yeah, that Porsche 91s.
Yeah, they're nice.
I love those.
Yeah, Yamaha RZ 250 bike, the Nissan Skyline 2000 GT. Mazda Savannah RX-7, the Nostalgia vending machine, 1/12 scale.
Love it.
I love it. And the Nissan Pulsar GTI. Very cool.
Oh, It looks like it's full of porn.
Well, there's one there we're not going to go into. Yeah, the dirty pair.
The
vending machine
is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's full of porn.
Oh dear. Yes, you're right. Magazine. Yep. Vending machine with one piece of magazine. Oh
that's
dear.
Nostalgia.
Oh dear. Those crazy friends over there, I tell you. All right. Moving on. This one's kind of cool because I know our friends at Cult TV Man will have this. X Plus is coming out with a Jurassic Park T-Rex and Malcolm diorama, 1/35th scale, approximately 38 centimeters in length, 42 including the pedestal. You can pre-order it now from HobbyLink Japan for about $50. So yeah, that's Malcolm running rather quickly with they had a name for the T-Rex. I don't know what they called him, Bruce for the animatronic, but whatever. We're going to call him Bruce with Bruce chasing.
This is in styrene as well, so
yeah, it looks
like they're
good.
saying it's much more easily posed on a single leg rather than a PVC or poly.
It looks damn good for styrene.
The parts breakdown looks nice.
Yeah, so this is at Wonderfest in Japan. They have a picture there. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, the breakdown looks good.
And you get a Jeff Goldblum.
And you get a Jeff Goldblum going, what are you doing? He's run away with the flare. And he doesn't get eaten.
Well, he's Jeff Goldblum.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's going to be due for release in July from X Models, X Plus. They always do some really cool stuff. Okay, last but not least, this last one's a YouTube video, so sound warning, but this is their round 2, their newest releases. I just wanted to point out 2 here. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, the 1992 Chevy Silverado short bed in the short bed 1500, 1/25th scale. That's from AMT, and also the 1965 Pontiac GTO hardtop. So apparently AMT said the Chevy Silverado, there are going to be a few more things coming out based on that bed. I know a lot of people bemoan the fact that there's not a lot of, shall we say, within the last 30-year pickup trucks. So this will be good. This will be good for people. So that's kind of cool.
Got one of your Eagles back there. Some of
the Eagles as well.
Repopped AMT Star Trek stuff.
Yep, they do have the bird of prey with the landing gear. So that'll be nice. So yeah, some good things there.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, I saw this one earlier today. Clear prop, 1/72nd scale, the de Havilland DH88 Comet, which is just a gorgeous looking plane, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
New tool, not much other details. It was just put into ScaleMates today. So, but that's going to look gorgeous. The box art looks absolutely fabulous.
Well, Clear Prop keeps putting out interesting subjects. That's for sure.
They do. You can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that looks like a good one. I know. I expect we'll see that on the tables in a few different forms. Okay, going over to ScaleMates. And do you see what they finally have for April the 3rd? Hawker Hurricane Mark II Arma Hobby 148.
I thought you were looking at the narrow gauge train.
No, God, no. I'm waiting for my Hurricane. But yeah, the narrow gauge train's good too, but it doesn't, so that's a nice one. Dream model with Dassault Mirage 2000N. Going down to April 2nd. Again, we have the de Havilland. A lot of 72nd scale stuff coming out. So Panzer Fux military kits. PANZERFUX. I wasn't swearing. Polish new infantry fighting vehicle, a Borsuck, I guess. Okay.
Some undersea rescue vehicles, April 1st.
Yep. Pegasus. Oh, yeah. Rescue deep sea KEP models. Deep sea. Yep. Soviet underwater rescue vehicle. Both 148, so they'll be a good size. Let's see. MiG-9 fighter in various scales.
KEPN, various scales is right.
Yeah. 32nd. For Hobby, they recently renamed. I saw a news article. They were something else before. Very similar name, but they've come up with the Paladin, the M2A1 medium tank from Vargas in 135th.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Let me have a closer look at that one here. Let's see what that one says. Oh, very nice. Yeah, the 1940. Yep, that'll fit a nice hole for people.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Imaginary skeleton, the Mosasaurus. I think we talked about that briefly before.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, we're down into some of the other stuff now. So yeah, some very cool things. I know some of it we talked about at the show, I think. Yeah. And of course, Waves giant, aquatic dinosaur, the Fucha Saboboris Suzy kill, 1/35th scale.
Photobasosaurus Suzuki in 35th scale.
Yeah.
Well, not all of these plesiosaurs were big.
Thank God. Oh, and I also want to point out. I also want to point out under animals in 1/35th scale, because our buddy Dave Knight over at the Plastic Model Mojo, you know how he was annoying people who like Tex-Mex food a while ago. Okay, 2 episodes ago. The last episode, which I was listening to when I was driving up to HeritageCon, he was annoying animal owners because I believe it's Waves come out with these various dogs and cats in 1/35th scale, but there's all sorts of breeds. And Dave's saying, why the heck would anyone, want to do that? So that, it was kind of like, he didn't quite know what he was getting himself into, but I think he will by now. And then when he was at the show, he was apparently, or at the thing before, he was mocking Canadian beer. That's what I heard. That was the vicious rumor.
Now I'll have to jump to your defense. So Canada has really got its act together a little bit. It's not just all Molson XXX and Labatt's Blue anymore.
Exactly. I think it was in jest too, because there is some fine.
Well, of course,
there is some fine American craft beers. We'll give them that. So. Yeah, exactly. But no, all sorts of, you want to do a diorama now, you got every animal known to man now. I'm just going back through. There's a resin company that did them in 1/18th and 1/24th animal sets, 1/87th. Yeah, like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just absolutely crazy. So that's what's new at our good friends at ScaleMates. So let's move on to another good friend. This is, of course, Steven over at Cult TV Man, and let's see what new and exciting things he has. Let's talk about the latest news from Cult TV Man, starting off first with the Round 2 box art for March 2023, starting with the Klingon Bird of Prey, the 2023 reissue, 1/350th. This was from the original AMT kit back in 95. 2018, Round 2 did a lot. They updated the kit. They added landing gear and updating the wings so they can be positioned. So that looks really nice looking box art for a nice looking kit. Next up is the Space 1999 Cargo Eagle with the pod. That's in 1/48 scale, looking very nice box art with the winch attachment, including the cargo pod as well. So that looks pretty cool as well. Other new products coming out: a Space Clipper 1/72nd scale lighting kit from Voodoo FX. That's for the 2001 Orion Space Clipper. He's got a lot of back issues from Amazing Figure Modeler. So we've got a full big bundle, 42 issues from 1998 all the way up to 2020. That's on sale. It's almost half price, $249.99. Great savings there. You save 40%. That's 42 issues for that one. And then also various smaller sets of issues. So 14 later year issues, 2014 to 2020, the middle years, the early years, etc. Then we have the Raiders Coach from George Barris, 1/25th scale from MPC Round 2, the classic hot rod kit there. And then also a bunch of store displays from X Plus. So Cyclops from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the Vampirella, the Gonzarella version store display, 1/8 scale. These are all our Maria from Metropolitus, and also you can pre-order the Glow Cyclops from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the Harryhausen edition. A few more decals and masks. Space Clipper decals from JT Graphics for the 350th scale. Also the Fly, 1/8 scale from Monarch models, and you can pre-order the Tom McEwen Dragster from Atlantis, 1/250th scale. So make sure you check all those out and tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, that was good. So, as I said previously, we had a really good time at HeritageCon, and we were blessed to have both Mike and Dave up from the Plastic Model Mojo. And around noon, we dragged them out of a seminar with Ewan over at Panzermeister. We physically dragged them out, brought them back to our table, and we had 4 of us and 2 of them, and we had a good little 15-20 minute discussion about the show and stuff like that. It was absolutely awesome. We really had fun. So we're gonna play that for you right now.
Perfect. You're further away.
All right, here we are at HeritageCon 15, I believe.
Wow.
Here, it's Stuart here from the Scale Model Podcast, but it's not just us. It's also some miscreants from south of the border. Even though we tried to get them stopped at the border, and there's already been some controversy.
Miscreants.
We have Dave and Mike here from the Plastic Model Mojo.
Setup. I think it was a setup.
You think it was a setup? I don't know.
I'm happy to be here, man. I'll tell you
You've
what.
You've been saying you've been pumped for this.
I am. It's meeting and exceeding expectations.
Well, we do try.
Wonderful.
I am really kind of stunned at this show.
Have you been over and seen our Lancaster yet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were here last night.
Oh, that's right. You were here last night.
Up.
Right. I saw that. Yeah,
I helped set up tables. Don't say I don't control.
Well,
it's good for you.
You watched, you
Good for
supervise. Well, I hear, Dave, that there was actually some controversy. You're really getting into trouble your last couple episodes. I'm just saying.
Good thing he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
I brought good beer. In fact, that was confirmed last night.
Wait,
I know.
you brought American beer from the U.S. and you call it good beer?
I brought fantastic American beer.
Is that what it's called?
And if you happen to show up, I might have one for you tonight after the show.
You see,
my God.
so then the 2 lawyers can talk. So, of course, we're also here with Terry Measley.
Hi.
And Jeff Hyland.
Hello.
Hello. And, you, Anthony Goodman.
I'm half in, and I'm here.
He's half in. He forgot he couldn't find his shirt, but that's right. So, it's
In
about...
the laundry.
That's all right. It's about just after 11 in the morning here. We have an absolutely beautiful day. We had some high winds, but an absolute ton of people. So I thought we'd just get everyone together for a few minutes and just go through what are you seeing so far, what are you noting, comments. We'll start with our guests from south of the border.
Well, it's bigger than I expected. We had on good rumor that it was the largest one-day show in North America, and I think that's easily living up to that expectation.
Agreed.
The facility's cool. The airplanes are cool. The winds weren't so cool. Actually, they were cool. They were cold last night. It wasn't that cold, but the wind was really cutting it down.
You
about
actually
15 degrees.
were driving up. You were pushing away the rain. So that was
we did
good.
bring some sunshine.
Yes, you did.
Oh, you did.
We haven't had a chance to look at the entries yet. I've got 4 out there,
Okay.
including last year's Moosaroo Cup entry is out there on the Gundam table.
All right.
So you can go have a look
Shall
at that.
be judged
Well,
harshly.
and
yeah,
That's
by me.
seriously a problem. I was told by Anthony that it's supposed to be a scale kit, and that's clearly not scale. So
Oh, see, the
something's
trash
wrong.
talk
I'm the
is
head
beginning.
judge for that category.
it's 1-to-1 scale.
Yeah, 1-to-1 scale. There you go. There you go. Well, we will talk about the Moosaroo Cup in a few minutes. We'll go about that. Dave, what have you seen so far? What are your comments?
Crap ton of models, a huge number of people, vendors, very impressive.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I know that would exceed the vendors here is the US IPMS Nationals.
Right. Yep.
Other than that, I don't think I've ever been to a show with this number and quality of vendors.
Well, that's good to hear from someone who's been to
And I've got this monopoly money in my pocket, and believe it or not, they take that in exchange for stuff.
We actually do.
It's amazing.
There it goes again.
Have you been bad so far shopping?
No, I have not spent the first dollar yet. I have purchased things in my mind.
Well, you got to be quick. That's the only thing with some of these
They won't be
vendors.
there.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, you see there's some great tool guys.
Yes.
You mentioned that on the way up on your
Yep.
live stream. So Panda Hobbies,
Yep.
go there. Terry knows them very well from last year.
Flexi-File.
So I mention his
Flexi-File.
name, and they charge me an extra 15%.
Well, no, but see what happens is he gets 15% off.
Oh, okay.
He gets the cut. No, we have some great tool vendors, and stuff like that.
Don't forget Sean's Customs. He's
Sean's
out there.
Custom.
I
All
already
those
dropped
the same there.
$100 there.
There you go.
good
See,
on
he's
you.
a good boy. Terry, our other honorary Canadian coming up from just west of Chicagoland.
Yeah, I've had a chance to get through the entries a little bit, just a little bit though. There's so many people, it's tough to actually get in and see stuff. So maybe past once the shoppers are gone, maybe I'll have a chance to get out there and really have a good look at stuff.
Well, they were said last year we had 2,100 people through the door. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's more
25,
this year.
26,
it's easily more this year.
Easily.
The parking lot, we were here before open, and the front parking lot was already completely full, and we ended up in the overflow in the back.
Yep.
And again, I wouldn't be surprised if you set a record as far as the number of
I won't be surprised.
Attendance.
I think last year they had around 900 entries, so I'm looking forward to hearing from our friends at IPMS Hamilton what we're going to have this year. Jeff, observations so far?
Well, it's bigger than last year, easily.
Right.
Easily bigger than last year. The quality and the number of builds on the table is amazing. The one thing I have noticed, because we're having our show this fall in September, so this is kind of like an opportunity for us to solicit vendors for the fall, but also to figure out what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong here, and how can we improve it. And there's been a lot of comments on the categories, as there always is. That some of them are too small, some of them are too big. Like, there's already been table creep for some of the categories.
Particularly
just
sci-fi.
Huge table
Sci-fi's
creep.
huge.
Sci-fi has gone crazy. Gundam's not so much.
I will tell you,
Anthony's going to win everything. Actually, you guys are going to win everything.
We've been, over the last year and a half since the COVID reopening, sci-fi is freaking exploding as a category.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest growth category that I can think of, and I don't see an end in sight to that with all of the quality kits that are coming out, all of the quality shows that are inspiring quality kits, 3D printing, which has expanded the range of stuff that's available. You're going to need more sci-fi tables.
Well, one other thing I always remembered, when Anthony and I first started this thing a couple of years back now, and Anthony had been to Japan, and he had seen the culture there, and he had educated me on how big the market is there, like for sheer number of models made. Like if they do 100,000 of a Gundam for a shop, that's normal. Well, we're lucky to get 10,000 of a, monogram kit. Mm-hmm. Are you finding the same thing, Anthony?
So,
yeah, I mean, it seems like in Japan, the hobbyists there just really embrace all the, like, they love F1 racing, they love World War II airplanes, they love modern things, they love sci-fi, they love Gundam. It seemed to me a bit more like free run, whatever the pursuit is, they would go for it. So I've been saying more tables for years. I always look at the categories with a little bit of side eye. I would love to get in and tinker with them, and I've offered over and over again.
If you're looking for a category split, you need to split Star Wars out.
Yeah.
It has to be its own category.
Well, this is what we're going to do. Like, Anthony's going to be helping us with the show. He doesn't know it yet, but he is.
Oh, absolutely. I'm at your service.
We have sci-fi guys, and we're going to be looking at that a lot.
Yeah.
It really irks me. It's still called miscellaneous. That's like all the extra crap that you don't want to deal with. You shove it in the closet at home.
With Bandai, especially with Bandai having those Star Wars licenses, those kits are just easy to build.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're always going to see a lot of them out there.
And popular.
You know that sci-fi has arrived as a category when you're starting to split and resplit.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you that Star Wars, there's more than enough stuff to split out.
Yep.
And you're probably going to see other things that you can do that
and it's
way.
all about ease of judging, right? Like, so that the judges can get through.
Yes.
So I have always thoughts about, like, how can we make it make sense? What appeals to me, because I'm strictly a sci-fi builder.
Well, and it's
like
fairness as well. Yeah. If you see, aircraft single-engine props split out 6 ways, and you're cramming science fiction into a tiny amount of space,
right?
There's a problem. It might be Star Wars original trilogy, Star Wars animated series. At some point it's going to be that.
But it's not just sci-fi versus like tanks and single-engine prop.
Yeah,
it's jets and single-engine prop here. They have one category for all 1/72 scale jets, and 15 categories for prop planes.
Which I find interesting, because it's also interesting the regional differences. Like the Toronto Club will have their show in May, Torcan, and I think you're going to see a lot more Gundams because you've got a larger Asian community in here in Toronto, and a lot of there's Panda Hobbies caters to that. Yeah,
well,
I think you'll see a lot of that.
The sense I get today is the judges actually were surprised at the amount of armor that's here. That's a massive amount of armor.
Yep.
There's also a fairly large supply of real space here, not just sci-fi.
That's always unusual.
Yes, that is.
Yeah. Well, and there was only one diorama we saw.
Only one diorama,
category.
one in the diorama category. But there are several other displays that, frankly, could be dioramas.
Oh, right. Yeah. But part of it, too, is that there is a detailed breakdown of rules, and people don't always have a chance to review them. So there's always that little bit of category shuffling when the judges get who are from
there. They
there.
have that discretion to do that, and they are doing it today.
I will tell you from the IPMS USA national perspective, we have the National Contest Committee, which sets the rules and runs the show, or the contest part of the show. They have detailed records back 15, 20 years, every category, number of entries, and they're looking at graphs of what's going up, what's going down.
I would love to see that data, and I'm hoping to get that from these guys. We have data from our show for exactly the same reason. I think it's good.
It really helps, yes, it's a contest. We're all here for fun and all. But if you want to make it as quote-unquote fair as possible, and you want to, and I think that maximizes the enjoyment of the participants, if you track that stuff and adjust your categories accordingly, it really, really will contribute to the reputation of the show as being a really great show.
Right.
And can I say, too, I want to, this is my favorite show. It's huge. It's very exciting, and I want to give kudos to the HeritageCon boys for putting on such an excellent show. And category issues aside, that's all kind of minor stuff. It's a lot of models on the table, which is always very inspiring. And so congratulations on another great show so far. And we're only halfway in.
You jumped the gun. I mean, we're all going to say that because this is easily
started out complaining about the category.
He does. He totally comes in. It's like Sinatra when Sinatra used to show up on Carson, right?
But his point's a good one though. I mean, the fact we're even sitting here talking about it, we've got to back up and look at the forest again.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge show.
Yeah.
And at a huge show, these kind of secondary and tertiary problems come to the surface, and they just make it better next year.
They're kind of more the devil in the details, right? It's fun to think about.
There's a lot of details on a show this size.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. I'm very impressed.
They've really pulled off an awesome show.
Yes. And the facility's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a neat place to be.
I always remember a couple of years back when David Goldfinch from On the Bench came up to see his sister-in-law. We had him down here for the day. IPMS Hamilton, was a great host, and I always remember I've got this great picture of him in that Catalina when I first showed up. He's in the dome there, and he's got just this goofy face. He's just having an absolute ball.
Yeah. For the record, that is a Canso, not a Catalina.
Sorry, my apologies. See, ever the lawyer, even if he's retired.
Hey,
I know. I got to deal with two of you today. What's with that? But you know what?
I think we got one on each side.
I know. But you know what? I've been so looking forward to having you guys up, meeting you in person. Yeah. Having you up here. I'm glad Canada's being nice, even though someone's commenting on the beer. We won't go into that.
So Moosaroo Cup.
Moosaroo Cup. Let's be serious.
Come over to the dojo tonight. We will discuss this over a good American beer.
Exactly. So
I don't know if that's possible.
Moosaroo Cup.
Trust me.
There's some good crap beers.
Leave the world.
He was being very generic about our Canadian beer.
That's
just
true.
saying.
That's true. Definitely.
All right, Moosaroo Cup.
Ours is here.
Yours is here. Theirs is here.
Mine is actually sitting at the dojo.
Oh.
Because transporting it up here, we had an incident. We had an incident, and I was going to fix it last night.
Well, we do have the model. We do have the model medic people.
But we were Terry Measley or. Chris Siebert was over, and Bruce, and we sat around till 1 o'clock in the morning drinking very fine bourbon and beer.
It wasn't peanut. There was no peanuts.
No
peanut
peanuts
butter.
involved.
Okay.
So
You're never going to let that one
stayed up
down.
late.
It's sitting at the dojo.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, they are going to have the announcement. There's some. I was talking to Chief Judge Ian Fraser. You'll all know my attempts to bribe him failed miserably, but he did say again it was an absolutely very, very tough decision. The builds.
There are fantastic entries. There are some real good modelers.
I keep telling him, he keeps giving me the negative vibes.
I'm
Jeff
telling you,
here.
mine sucks compared to what I've seen.
You're your own worst critic. We all are.
Yeah, you will represent the side.
The pictures
fine,
look
so,
great.
All right, so we're going to let you guys go and go back to some other things. Lots of presentations going on.
Gotta go see Evan's presentation.
We got to go wind up Evan.
Yeah.
We have to do that. Throw some tomatoes.
Well, grab the rotten fruit and let's go.
I know. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
and
you.
We'll talk to you all
See you
later.
again.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah, absolutely great segment. It's always nice when you get 6 of us, and we were all
and they were saying they had rented an Airbnb. They were saying he spent more time driving than sleeping over those couple of days, and they had a longer drive than I did.
Yeah,
Darren had an even longer.
Yeah, how many hours for you?
I budget 8 for that trip, but it didn't take 8. It took
they were
7.5 ish.
Yeah, and then Darren, I'm not sure what Darren's drive was.
That's a longer drive from up in the Jersey, Northern Virginia.
But you know what? He brought his much better half. We got to meet, which was awesome.
Did. They turned it into a weekend.
Well, she went out antiquing, I guess, and we made sure we warned him to make sure that he had enough room in the car.
They brought the Outback, so they had some space.
Yeah, they had some space, but she didn't. We and of course, being ever so nice Canadians, we told her that the next time she has to come to St. Jacobs in Kitchener Waterloo for the antique stuff there. So. Yeah, I'm sure that made us popular with them, but no, absolutely fabulous time. I was just pooped by the end of it. Like I said, I don't know how those guys do it, but really good time, and it was a really good show. All righty. So what's on the bench? So I finally got the priming. Well, I have your priming complete, almost complete. I was getting ready to review it last time. I got the top side, and then I realized I forgot the radiator intakes on top of those giant Hercules Pegasus engines on the Beaufighter.
Yeah.
So I had to put those on. So I just need 2 more shots of black primer, and then I'll be moving on to the underside color. That'll be the RAF Sky. The AK Gen 3. I've used them before, but this will be the first time I'm using it on such a large canvas, but I'm really looking forward to using that. I've been playing around with them. I think I got my ratios down. I use their own thinner, and about a 60-40 to 50-50 ratio of paint to thinner. And then I put actually a drop or 2 of the Vallejo
Flow improver.
Thank you. The flow improver. Yeah.
Yeah. That goes in almost everything I paint
that
now.
Just works perfectly. So looking forward to doing that. Might do it on Wednesday night at our build night. And then got to figure out what's next. At some point, got to do that. Just, finishing up some other stuff. Real life still keeping me a bit busy, but we're slowly but surely getting better. But we're starting to gear up for our own show. I'm helping a lot with the tech side of that, getting the websites up and running, and we're really looking forward to that. How about you, sir?
That's great. I made a little bit of progress on the Babs. Mostly, I did some cleaning at the bench. I look at it now, and it doesn't. I don't see that I did any cleaning, but I know I did a lot of cleaning.
I got to do that. A serious reorg at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we say, well, you know what it is? This is almost a topic to itself. We should ask Jeff about it. But, after a while, you start working, on the bench in the existing orientation, then you realize it can be better. And that's what I need to do.
Creep. You get tool creep. You get all this stuff, and you have to put all this stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
Most years, especially when I was still competing at Wonderfest, it was always the 2 weeks after Wonderfest was nothing but cleaning my bench off because it had become trying to get stuff finished just becomes a disaster.
Yeah.
But I'm getting clear bits clear down on the Babs, so I'm getting ready for decals and get some panel lining done. I'm not going to over weather this one. Just give it some good aging and some exhaust staining and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So and again, there's a lot of other projects that are sitting around half finished. I got that new Qatari Spitfire staring at me.
Yes, you were nice enough to bring that up to us, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely,
I brought that
gorgeous.
in those Halberd models kits.
Yeah, they were great. They were absolutely great. Yep. No, good. You got to send me some pictures of those. We'll include them on the show notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just again, we're in the golden age. Totally in the golden age.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about the Halberd models just a little bit.
Yeah, please.
I go way back on resin, and I know casting, making masters, fixing masters, all that kind of stuff. And these are, I think, they may be the best cast kits I've ever seen. Don't tell Blappy.
Okay.
But no, he got to see it too.
You know what? This is just between you and
agreed.
I. Yeah.
No, he watched them too. He looked at them, gave them a good view over and some good light, and he agreed that as well. They're extraordinarily well done.
Mm-hmm.
They're simplified where they need to be in the cockpit by cast in detail. That's excellent. Yep. And the clear bits are done right, and he knows exactly what he's looking at for that.
Yep, exactly.
So their dimension is good. There's no bending. They're crystal clear. Mm-hmm. So I really look forward to that. And again, the ones I had there were the Mustang X and the Curtis Seahawk.
Seahawk, yeah, and that was gorgeous. I know Mike was taking a big interest in that because he's been working on float planes and catapults and stuff like that. Yeah, both absolutely gorgeous kits.
I did see someone there with a 48 scale turret and catapult setup.
That was gorgeous, British one, yeah.
Yeah, with a what was on there? Was that a?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that.
It was a walrus.
A walrus. That's right. That's right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And that was just absolutely gorgeous too. Again, just. Amazing stuff there.
Yeah.
Need we say more? Just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, more than enough projects. I look over at my stash and I have more than enough as well. So, okay, let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit. And someone else who was at the show. Oh, and I should point out.
You should mention.
Yeah, Sean's Custom Model Tools. So he also is now getting into printing 135th and accessories. He's planning to go to 148. So Anthony and I are going to do a separate video review. He had like jerry cans. He's got some smoke grenade launcher dispensers, a stretcher and backboards. All sorts of nifty stuff. And they're fairly good value. So we're going to do a separate review on those. So Sean was kind enough to give us some sample copies. And again, he had a very good day, he said. So let's just talk about what else he features. Here we go. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding blocks, namely the Value Pack combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set. Just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right. Again, another good one. Always good to hear from him and see him. So now also at the show, Kinetic was there. Kinetic model kits. And Kinetics have a lot of Canadians excited because they are releasing a Tudor, Canadian jet training aircraft, also used by our demonstration team, the Snowbirds. So he had a binder with CAD renderings and decal options. And that was the exciting bit. That was the exclusive. So the decal options for the Tudor are going to feature a inline aircraft from Moose Jaw, where they're based for training, but also two different schemes of the Snowbirds from two different eras. So absolutely gorgeous. And he had his table in front of the Warplane Heritage Museum's Tudor. So I'm sure some people were taking advantage of that to snap some pictures.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. It's frankly, it's kind of confusing that it's been such an underserved subject.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Canadian modelers are very excited. Kinetic did say, they did get some modelers who know their stuff to help. And these guys have having to keep their mouth shut under NDAs for so long until it was finally announced a couple of months ago. So it was really nice to see Colin there. So anyway, here is the recording I did with Colin. All right, we're here at HeritageCon, and I'm pleased to be at the Kinetic Models booth with Colin, and he's got some exciting things. We're actually sitting in front of the Canadair Tudor, and I know that's one particular subject, Colin, that modelers are very excited about.
That's right. That's the reason that we're coming to the show this time. It's because we want to promote the release of the Tudor in September 2023.
2023. Not long at all. I know a lot of Canadian modelers are going to be excited about it, and I know you had quite a bit of input from modelers and that who had to keep their mouth shut at NDA and all that. So anything else you can tell us specifically about the kit? Have you decided about decal schemes or anything like that yet?
I just received the preliminary design of the decal just recently, just last week. There's three schemes. One is the Moose Jaws, the line aircraft. Two of them are the Snowbirds from different eras.
That's what I was going to ask, because I know a lot of people will want that. So it's going to be good. Any other announcements or anything coming out, or anything you want to talk about with Kinetic?
There are some new two F-16s, the A model and the C models. We just received shipment of them.
Okay.
Plus the Kafir C-10. That's a unique plane.
I'm hearing some very good reviews about that one.
That's one of my favorite as well.
Oh yeah, that's good. So that's going to be good. So an exciting time. Any other hints you can drop us about what's coming next?
There are a lot of projects in the works, but the exciting part would be it's a lot of Canadian subjects.
Awesome. That'll be good. Hey, that's a nice tease for what's coming ahead, because you guys have always been good with the Canadian subjects. So, as I look here, we've got, the CF5, the CF104, just a ton, and you're always great supporters. So thank you again for coming to HeritageCon, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future as September gets closer. I know that Tudor's on my to-buy list.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
All right, things we've seen. Terry, you go ahead. You found this one, and you were very excited.
Yeah, I saw it pop up on the Facebook with the M4 Skink version, the anti-aircraft. It's quad 20 millimeter.
Yes.
World War II. I was unaware it's a Canadian conversion of it, so I clicked on their site, and it is chock full of conversions, and across the board, a lot of German stuff, but a lot of not German stuff as well, and some frankly wild stuff that I don't know if existed or not. I just don't know enough about it. There was this down here, the Sherman T10 mine exploder. It's like it doesn't have tracks.
No,
it just uses these huge roller wheels as mine. It's just
insane.
Crazy. Yeah. There's a lot of really cool stuff. There's some science fiction stuff in here.
I noticed that the BMW R78.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of this stuff is paper projects, how much is fiction.
That is very cool.
But there's stuff you can do if you've got the DOS Works trailers and stuff. There's like covers for the trailers. There's stuff you can put in the trailers. For if you do a FAMO, it's got all these canvas covers for a FAMO.
Yeah, and very cool.
You've got a ton of goodies here. Again, I think they're 3D printed stuff. Almost certainly, it's you're buying direct 3D prints. But the prices don't look bad.
Nope, not bad at all. They got some nice figures too, some busts, stuff like that,
and some subjects that are unusual.
Yeah. So he is the guy behind this is Sebastian DeBold. He's 43. Modeler, hobbyist, collector, and whatever else is part of our hobby. A long passion that probably all captivates us. Then he shows in the About Us, he shows his work area. Ooh, he's got a Dora.
his work area. Is there a work area there?
Well, I don't know. This is some of his. I think this is his stash area with some stuff open.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you're doing these conversions, you've got to have the base kits. You've got to be willing to carve those base kits up.
Yeah.
And make sure it all works right. And it looks really good.
Yeah, it does. He does. He's done a fine job. So definitely check out that. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, at least have a look and see what's here.
Yeah.
There's some wild stuff here.
Gorgeous. Yeah, he's got some painted stuff too that he's selling now that he's built them. And again, just absolutely gorgeous. He's got 3 here, including the Sherman with the Enchimima mine rollers.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Now I have to figure out if that was ever done. Now the big, like the TE, I think some of those roller sets were real.
Yeah, I think some of them were. The skink, I'm pretty sure was.
The skink was real. Yeah. And it is tempting.
I know, so much temptation.
And all of these versions of these tanks that were turned into support vehicles and everything.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really cool.
Very, very cool. All righty, so we're going to just mention our good friends at Return to Kit Form. Your home for Macross kits. They're amazing. They're amazing masks for your Macross kits, your Valkyries and stuff like that. I have 3 Valkyries at some point coming to me from our friends at Neo Tokyo. That gosh darn Peter Fay, he's a good salesman. They were able to get a pre-order. I know. So nope. Yeah. So they're coming eventually. So I'm going to have to get a couple of his mask sets. Definitely check them out. Return the number 2 kitform.com. Chris and Brett, and tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. For more modeling podcast goodness, check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. I am going to be expanding this page to include some links that all the various podcasts liked, some of our friends with YouTube channels and that. I did promise Kentucky Dave I would do that. He's going to remind me if I don't. So, there we go. I have it out in public now.
We should also, before let me interrupt you, we should also remind people to check out the IPMS schedule, because we're really starting to roll into show season here. And there are every weekend, there's multiple shows.
Yep. Same thing up here in Canada. IPMS Canada has a slow schedule. I know in our direct area, we've got Ottawa's got Capcom. We've got Torcan coming up. Windsor's doing a show. We're doing a show in London. Guelph is doing a show. So yeah, I have to save my pennies for gas.
Yeah, and I should mention, I did not. I don't remember his name. The guy who came over and talked to us about the Bay City show in February. Bay City,
Roscoe Turner's got theirs coming up.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah, the best place to go is definitely your local country's IPMS sites. So IPMS USA. There seems to be, we're definitely well into show season, Terry.
Yep.
Definitely. It's a good thing.
There's about 2 months for before Wonderfest.
And then the important one, Wonderfest is coming up. There's going to be a pretty large Canadian contingent. We already know there'll be some amazing stuff. In fact, next episode, we have a very special guest. So you're going to want to tune in for that. That's all we're going to say for now.
Yep.
But yeah, from right now when I'm recording this, so it is the April the 3rd, it's 66 days to Wonderfest.
Yes.
So not long at all. So definitely make sure. I'm just seeing if they've added anyone else to the guest list. No, I think Elizabeth Shepard was already on there. Tumu Lige, Damien Oman, the Corridor people.
It literally, it seems like the biggest show I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guests wise.
Yeah, and of course, the annual stuff, the Iron Modeler, the Rondo Awards. I always love Iron Modeler. I always like to see what you guys come up with.
I've participated a couple of times, enough to know I'm not going to probably do it again.
Oh, but it's fun, yeah.
Absolutely. The teams that regularly do it it's just amazing to watch the process and how it comes together, and then they have to present it, and it's a party.
Yep. So basically what it is, this is what it is. 8 3-person teams are given a base item. Could be a kit, could be a random item, a big pile of parts, greebies, and assorted castaway household items, and 4 hours to build the best model they can. A spray booth and paints are provided, but teams need to bring any glue or tools. And at the end of 4 hours is judged. It's just like Iron Chef, but with models.
And half of it is selling it.
Oh, yeah.
Shamelessly
BSing,
sucking up to the judges.
Sucking up to the judge, BSing, all the stuff we can't do with the Moosaroo.
Yes.
Basically, yes. Yes, exactly. So definitely. Official tart time's at 6, but you can arrive anytime after 5:30. So yeah, that's always good fun. That's always good to watch. They need to live stream that sometime.
That room, you'll get high off the fumes in that room.
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff happening there. Well, the fumes, the BS, it's people trying to come up with a good story.
Yep.
The beer, yeah, all that good stuff. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so short and sweet episode. Although we have it's going to be fun for me to edit. So behind the scenes, I'm sure most of you realize that I actually insert ads and interviews and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun for me to edit. But we'll get some pictures. I'll remind Jeff to send me some. Terry, send me what you can. I got a few things to throw up there. As always, a good time. I'll Meg Anthony too.
Yep.
So for episode 114, sponsored. That I will take out. Do a pause. For episode 114 of the Scale Model Podcast. My name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Terry Measley, reminding you to load up your podcasts and tune up the car. It's show season.
Right on. Perfect. And I will try not to steal his joke again, folks. Thank you, and be well.